Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, August 5th, 2014 City Council meeting to order. If I could ask you to rise. Our invocation, our pledge will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Our Heavenly Father, we are gathered today with members of our community with the shared belief that we must treat each other with dignity and respect. In this invocation, I don't ask you to bow your heads, but to look up at what you can accomplish by working together. I don't ask you to close your eyes, but to keep them open wide to the problems that we face as a city. With your talents and insight, you can lead this community to a better future. As you work together on behalf of all those who live in this city, may you draw strength and encouragement from one another through compassion and reason. This we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Once again, good evening. As you notice, we're running one council member short. Council member Vice Mayor Norris had a family emergency and she's not able to be with us tonight. Our deputy city clerk is not here tonight, but for a different reason. Good news, her son is getting married, so that will be, I think, Friday, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, getting married on Friday, so congratulations to her and her family. So our first item on the agenda tonight is our Citizens Open Forum. It gives you a chance to address the council. We only have a couple of rules: that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes, that you don't address anything on tonight's agenda, and that you state your name and address clearly for the record. Having said that, anybody on this side of the room over here like to address the council? Yep, Bert.
We'll start it off. I'm Bert Weber, the library director, and I live at 228 Lotus Drive in Safety Harbor. And Lisa here, this is a joint project between the library and Public Works. And the library is hosting a display of artistic flamingos. We have one over there sitting. Hello, Birdie. And there's 24 of them. They're all done by local artists, and it was an aid to trying to get the word out and educating the public about our waterways and not polluting our waterways. It's all built around the fact that we don't want you watering your lawns in the summertime. And Lisa's going to explain why.
Thank you, Bert. I'm Lisa Ray, Director of Public Works, City of Oldsmar. And as Bert was saying, this is an artistic display, and I visited it today. It's very nice. So if you get an opportunity, go down to the library and check it out. And on Saturday, they're going to have their luau, annual luau, and one of the activities that'll be available for kids is coloring and painting flamingos. We do have some just plain pink plastic ones that have not been decked out like this one has. So they're going to be available for the kids to work on. Some of the pollutants that do run into our waterways in the summer are excessive fertilizer. Nitrogen and phosphorus can lead to large algae blooms, and if you're following what's recently happened up north in Toledo, they ended up with a lot of toxins in their water stream from algae blooms. So not only is it something that is harmful to the fish and the other animals, it can also be harmful to humans. So we want to prevent some of the runoff, and this is an educational program. Library is hosting it, and you'll also see some flocks of flamingos around the city as well. So enjoy.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
One last thing.
Does not the council get a chance to paint one of them?
Well, if you want to come Saturday, you certainly are invited.
Why don't you take one and cordon it off, and then say this is mine and this is Jim's and this.
You can just paint the whole thing if you want.
Well, we'll do that, okay? We'll have a special one for you. I wanted to close with the trivia question for the evening. Who is the creator of the pink yard flamingo? I'm looking for a name.
Who's the creator of what?
Who created that pink yard flamingo?
The pink.
Yeah, who made that first?
The flamingo?
Yeah.
God did.
The plastic one, the plastic one. Well, his name fits with his creation. His name is Don Featherstone. And he created it in 1957.
I bet he's a rich dude, too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side of the room? Anybody on this side of the room? Yep. Jerry? And then Loretta.
Hello, good evening. Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East. And I have a good message I'd like to relay. Republic Services, their customer service did an excellent job for me this past week. I called them in one day saying the recycling bin lid was broken. Plus, I said I do so much recycling. I do more recycling than I do trash. Could I get a bigger container? And the next day, it was in the front yard. I got so excited. I don't know if other people get as excited, but it
Linda
was...
does, but she's not here.
I know she would like that. So this is an environmental night, you know? But I wanted to compliment their Republic Services, and their customer service young lady was Lorraine that helped me. So I'd like to mention that to each of you. As the volunteer curator for the Oldsmar Museum and Oldsmar Historical Society, I'd like to give a heads up to everyone that September 6th, I know it's like a month away, so I'll remind you again, but we're going to have a volunteer orientation session for an hour on a Saturday from 10 to 11. Really would like to get more people volunteering and interested in Oldsmar's history. And we have great plans coming up for programs. And September 13th, our first one is you get to meet Ed Manning. He's a long-term resident, and he can tell you a lot of history about Oldsmar. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. No trivia tonight? Oh, we already had flamingo trivia. You don't want to upstage that. Yep, Loretta?
Good evening. Loretta White, 601 Shore Drive. A little follow-up to Jerry. I'd be happy if they just leave the lid on mine instead of taking it off every time. I see you have, excuse me, Greenlight Pinellas on here. I just had an informational question. Should I ask it now? Or?
Well, it's on the agenda, so...
Okay. All right. I just had an informational question for it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll do it then.
You had another one over there, too.
Yep, where? Yeah.
Good evening. This is Vasilia Barone, and I like to say...
Address, please.
Excuse me?
Address.
3. The address where I'm living now,
Yep.
or the address of my property?
Either one. Where you live.
308 Tavernier Drive.
Okay. Thanks.
Oldsmar. Hello to everybody. Nice to meet you. And a very special hello to our mayor, former mayor, that Doug, allow me, but we have had so many years with Mayor Beverland, and we appreciated so much his good job, his excellent job to bring that progress that we have in Oldsmar. Thank you. I speak that and I say that because I'm an old citizen of Oldsmar, and my property is in 3588 Meriden Avenue in West Oldsmar, and that was a very nice, it is a very nice place, but I'm afraid to say it starts to be not anymore. And that is why I'm here today to ask you, please, to give it some attention, and this is the reason. We have paved that street, became so nice. We were doing a very good job, and lately we have some renters that are not so good, and they are bringing around, they are violating some ordinances, like leaving their dogs without a leash. It's something that everybody does, but that is very dangerous. And we would like to enforce our ordinance that dogs or any kind of animal should be on their leash. Why do I say this? Because there has been many incidents that happened, and people, and my renters, complain. They are not very happy, and we could lose business out of that. Plus, another more special incident is some activities that I don't know what's going on in some houses that go back and forth and deals of a kind, or I don't know what to say about that, but I know that it is not clean stuff. I remember at the beginning, we used to have police patrol very several times of the day going back and forth. And that's why our place was very clean. We had good renters, no illegal stuff going on. And I believe it was all credit of our police people that were patrolling the place. And we thank you for that. Now we don't see them anymore. We don't see the patrol going back and forth. And I don't know why. And maybe that is also the reason that tenants get to find a safe haven for their illegal stuff going on. So I give this to your attention to please do something about it, enforce the patrolling there, the cleaning up, the controlling the people that let their dogs free, and people get worried. And that's it, and I thank you so much.
And we'll look into that. Parts of that, I don't know if you're aware, parts of that area over there are in the city of Oldsmar. Parts of that are in unincorporated Pinellas County. So we can only enforce the ones that have been annexed or that are part of the city, but we'll certainly look into the properties that are around you and enforce the ones that we can. And we have kind of had a changing of the guard. We have a new code enforcement officer that hasn't been on long, so he's getting up to speed. We also have 2 new community police officers that are also kind of a new fresh look for Oldsmar too. So we'll get in touch with them and have them look into that and see what we got. But we'll identify your property and see. Some are in, some are not in the city of Oldsmar. So we'll look into that. Yeah.
Why don't you have one of our new officers go out and meet with you?
Yeah. Do you have her address? Did you get it?
I have the
3588 Meriden Avenue.
Okay.
This is my property, but it's not only for my property.
Right. But
I am
it tells us, at least it tells us
on behalf of all of them. And I know about the annexation you were talking about, and we went through that, and I don't know all the others, but many of us are annexed to Oldsmar now.
Sure.
But even if they are not annexed, I don't think they should be allowed.
Sure, the sheriff's department will still look into that.
Yeah.
Why don't you just leave your telephone number with the mayor or with the city clerk, and then we'll have one of our community officers call you, and then you can...
Or give her my card if you want, or your card.
That will be my pleasure.
Okay.
She's going to get you my card and her card.
Now? Later?
No, you can have it right now.
Can I have it now?
If you're done, just come on over. Thank you.
Thank you very
Just
much.
don't call me right now. I probably won't answer. Anybody else like to address the council? Seeing no one, we'll close the Citizens Open Forum. Our first item is our consent docket. We have 6 items. Approve the minutes of the July 1st, 2014 City Council meeting, accept the resignation of Tom Eckert from the Planning Board, authorize the city manager to advertise for bids for influent lift station improvements at the Water Reclamation Facility. 4, authorize surveying services for 3 stormwater projects. 5, approve ranking and authorize the city manager to negotiate contract for general engineering services for utilities. And number 6, award the bid for State Road 580 landscaping materials. Anybody wish to pull anything?
I was going to pull 2 of them, but the city manager talked me out. No, in fact, he threatened me. Talked me out of this. I'm not going to pull it. No.
No.
Jim, you all right? If not, I need a motion. Second?
Yeah.
Motion is second. All in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you. Next is the City of Oldsmar. Consider the reappointment of Cleveland Smith to the Board of Adjustments. I believe I saw him here. Yep, come on up, Cleveland.
We missed you last time.
Yeah, good. I totally forgot.
That's okay. And reappointment, that's great. Board of Adjustments, not always a great board sometimes, but hey, it is what it is, and we appreciate you doing it. Do you have any questions of us?
No, everything's good. I'm just glad you guys agreed to let me stay on.
Well, we haven't yet.
Okay.
It's tough, you know. Any questions of Cleveland?
No.
Thank you for serving.
Yeah,
Thank you really for all your time. How many years are you on there?
About 7, I think.
Yeah, we gave you a plaque a couple. Yeah, that's your 5.
Yeah.
So I need a motion to reappoint Cleveland.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
I met him today,
Aye.
he walked into the house.
Oh, 4. Passes 3 and something. What are you doing now?
Oh, God.
Uh-oh. You okay?
I'm fine, thank you.
I don't really even know what's going on right now. Are we moving on?
It's warm in here.
Oh, okay. Well, why didn't you just say that? You didn't have to get up and do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I thought they were going to prank you or something. I didn't know what was going on.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Cleveland. Next is, with this next item, I want to bring something up with Cleveland also in mind, but consider moving Eric Seidel from the alternate member to the full member of the Board of Adjustments. Eric's busy. He gives a lot of his time and had a conflict tonight and was not able to make it. I know in the past we have talked about why we do this, and a lot of times we bring people up here because we've never met them before. There are a lot of boards that have people that we haven't met or they're new people, and so we try and make them, but I believe everybody on the council knows Cleveland, and I believe everybody knows Eric, and if it's all right with the council, I'd like to go ahead and motion to approve Eric to a full member of the Board of Adjustments. We just had him here for the Firefighter Pension Board, and we had him.
He stole my pen, he said.
Oh.
Here.
Oh, so he was here. All right. So if that's okay with everybody, I'd like to have somebody make a motion to approve him. Second? All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye. And maybe we kind of revisit this and determine if it's somebody new that maybe we don't bring them, we bring them before us, but if it's a reappointment or something like that, that we can go otherwise, because we know their time's valuable, and we already ask enough of them as it is.
The only reason we brought Cleveland back is because we forgot the last time.
But after that, and then I saw this with Eric, and I thought, you know, the intent of it is good. Thank you again, Cleveland. Our next item is did we vote?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, okay. Our next is the presentation of the Homer Brunson-Ward Schrecengost Government Award. I will be doing that. And we have a video. Oh, that looks new.
The Homer Brunson Award Schrecengost Award was established in 1990 by the City Council at that time. This award serves as 2 purposes. The first purpose is to recognize 2 of the city leaders that dedicated themselves to the city as service. Ward Schrecengost served the city of Oldsmar for 16 years as mayor in the 1950s and 1960s. His last term was in 1970. Homer Brunson served the city of Oldsmar 11 years as a council person and 1 year as the mayor. Homer Brunson died in office in 1975. These 2 guys served this city with dedication and love for their city. It was ironic. In 1970, I had the privilege of serving on council with both of these men. In fact, I sat between them. I got the education of my life sitting between these 2 politicians, and I'm telling you, they were the old-time politicians. They didn't like each other. Homer was a diehard Democrat, and Ward was a diehard Republican. And they both brought that feeling to the council meetings, and it was incredible. But these 2 men were dedicated to the city of Oldsmar, and that's the reason why we have the Homer Brunson Ward Schrecengost Award for one reason, and that's to keep these 2 guys' names in the forefront of serving the city. The second reason this award is important is because the award goes to a city employee that is chosen by their peers. This employee is not chosen by the council, not chosen by the city manager. This individual is chosen by their peers for their dedication to city government of the city of Oldsmar.
And with that, I'd like to ask Ben Pugh to come up, please. Would you like to introduce your helper?
This is my daughter, Melina.
Is this the one that you had to make a bun in their hair for the dance recital? Yeah. I didn't. I can see, yeah, I can see that. Well, welcome, congratulations. And this is, as Jerry said, a great award because it is something that is done by your peers. It's not something that we do or the city manager does or department leaders. It's something that you're recognized by the people that you work with. And we say this over and over again, and we would not be able to have the great city we do if it wasn't for the staff that we have and the supervision and the city manager that we have. So Ben was nominated, and I'll read what was written. Ben has shown outstanding leadership skills over the past year by covering managerial duties for his supervisor over a block of several months and intermittent periods throughout the year. The additional duties included supervisory tasks such as evaluation, scheduling, ordering materials while managing repairs of multiple large leaks along Tampa Road, training and overseeing several new employees, helping direct the contractor for the CIP sewer lining project, and representing the division's emergency after-hour calls, which oftentimes meant long hours during nights and weekends. Ben continued to perform his previously assigned duties while taking on the additional responsibilities. Furthermore, Ben directed D&C support for other divisions in public works, several large stormwater projects. Ben's willingness to step in and help lead and maintain the division shows dedication and leadership. And with that, I would like to present you with the Homer Brunson-Ward Schrecengost Award, presented to Ben Pugh for his outstanding service, dedication, and leadership to the City of Oldsmar 2014 second quarter. Why don't you hold that for Dad? It also comes with a check. I won't give that to her yet. She's and it comes with an extra day off, so we decided to give you Labor Day off. No, I'm just kidding. But congratulations, Ben. Like to say something?
Just want to thank Charlie for keeping me around this long, and the only way I can do this is because of the group of guys that I work with. They cover me while I can cover him, so I want to thank them, but they're at home.
Thanks. All right. Our next item is Greenlight Pinellas presentation, and I'm not sure we have Don Hewing, Brad Miller, and Commissioner Susan Latvala here as well. I don't know who's.
I'll start it off. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Good evening, City Manager and staff. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present Greenlight to you tonight. I'm here tonight on behalf, my name is Don Ewing. I live at 660 Island Way in Clearwater. Previous to that, I was a 16-year resident of the East Lake area and got to know Oldsmar very well. My son played baseball here at Canal Park, and thanks to Bruce and the City Council, I was able to foolishly join the over 50 crowd at the BMX track and actually run around the BMX track like an idiot on a bike with a helmet trying to win a prize there at the end. Bruce and I were the only two that were over 50 at the time, I think, with maybe one other guy that were stupid enough to go out there and try and break bones. So I have great memories of Oldsmar, and I thank you for the opportunity tonight. I represent the Friends of Greenlight tonight, and I would like to speak with you about the Greenlight plan. I'm going to start with this slide. In my research here about the City of Oldsmar, I discovered that Oldsmar has the distinct distinction of being one of the few cities in Pinellas County that has had foresight in planning transportation into their city. Through your station area plan and some publicity that was done around that time frame, you basically presented an outstanding plan to help make Oldsmar the hub of Tampa Bay and to provide a transit-friendly city and all of the advantages that come with that, which you'll hear again tonight about the Greenlight Pinellas plan. So with that opener, there's quite an interesting story that I picked up there, but I can't read it from here. But Monday you park your car to catch a train to Miami for a lunch meeting. Wednesday, you take the light rail from work to bring your bike starting, sorry, I can't read really well that distance there, to spend the remaining hours of the day exploring new trails. Saturday morning, you ride your bike along the edge of the Tampa Bay while you on your way to grab some coffee with your friends before hopping on a trolley to head to the beach. This was kind of an intro statement about your station area plan, which is fabulous. I commend you for doing that. Along that line, tonight I'm here to talk to you about what Greenlight Pinellas is and what the advantages of the plan are. It is to provide a dramatically improved bus service and mass transit system throughout the Pinellas County area, including every city and every top and bottom of the city. It is apologize, do you? Okay. It will eliminate the current property tax and funding for the property tax, and the funding will be derived through a sales tax. And it will produce in addition to massive bus increases, it'll produce a 24-mile passenger rail with 16 stops going from Clearwater through the Gateway area to St. Petersburg along the 3 major employment centers other than Oldsmar in Pinellas County. It will provide 65% more bus service over the plan implementation. It will provide for 80% more weekend service. It will provide for faster, more frequent service, new rapid transit lines connecting the major employment centers, corridors, and activity centers, and it will include bus rapid transit from here to Tampa Airport and beyond into Tampa. This is a plan developed in partnership with the public. It is a comprehensive transportation plan for the future of Pinellas County. It is a community partnership. This was not done by a few elected officials or a few government workers. This was actually a 4-year process, 4+ year process. It started many, many years ago in 2010 at the most recent iteration through the federally sponsored alternatives analysis, where over 60,000 people were involved in this process of developing what today you know as the Greenlight Pinellas plan to bring mass transit to Pinellas County. There were over 226 meetings and events where people were invited to weigh in on the plan, to bring design changes, to bring design ideas throughout that 4+ year period. So where there was plenty of citizen, business, and community leaders who participated in this to be able to provide what you know today as the Greenlight plan. So we know that it's increased bus service. We know that it's increased a new rail system. We also know that the timeline for this is going to be implementation from 2014 through 2024 to actually get the entire plan online and active throughout the county. It'll begin once the referendum is passed in November. The SDA will begin implementing what they can in the first couple of years, which is enhance bus service and start ordering buses and those sorts of things. In 2016 through 2019, a lot of the buses will be in by that time because it takes a year to get them, and you'll be provided with more increased bus service, more frequency of the routes, more headways, meaning they'll go from an hour per route or per frequency on a route, perhaps to every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes. So all of that can come into play during the first few years once the tax revenue starts coming in. From 2018 to 2021, there'll be rapid bus corridors implemented on the map. Those are those clever green lines there where bus rapid transit is in place, where it's express routes and it's longer distance routes that go from point A to point B. There's quite a bit of service from Oldsmar, from Route 60 and the Howard Franklin Bridge to get over to the airport, the West Shore area, and ultimately downtown, connecting with the HART system. So Pinellas, the Greenlight Plan, one of the 8 points of the Greenlight Plan is it will be a change from current property owners being the ones that pay for transit today to the property tax will go to 0 for the PSTA line. And in place of that, we're asking for a 1% sales tax to be added to the county's sales tax to fund the improvements and the operating costs for the plan. Part of the ability to receive more money through the sales tax is going to be funded by visitors and folks that are coming in from out of state, both tourism and folks that live in other counties and work in Pinellas County. Tourists and visitors on the current penny pay approximately 1/3 of the current penny income, so we're actually spreading it out to a more fair tax where visitors, businesses, and property and people in Pinellas County will help pay for this increased funding. As hard as it is to believe, the Greenlight Pinellas plan, on the average, is going to save the average Pinellas County homeowner $81 a year when you take away the property tax, and you incorporate the sales tax that they would pay. There are numbers that have come through. Those numbers have come from the average Pinellas County home. You'll also see in this handout that I provided you guys, there's a more detailed one which you can cover in just a minute that's Oldsmar specific. But basically, if you look at the entire countywide, there'll be about a 6% reduction in property tax, and then there'll be the commensurate amount of sales tax that you will pay that the IRS has a calculator for based upon your family size and your income. With that, typically, it's going to be around this $81 savings per year. Greenlight will increase bus service, as I said earlier, by 65%, including expanded night and weekend service. Really, the whole point of this Greenlight Pinellas plan is to provide a better bus service, to provide a viable transportation option for folks needing to get to their jobs, for millennials who don't want to own a car perhaps, want to live, work, and play in a more urbanized area, and for seniors to give them the ability to stay at home longer and still provide, when they lose the ability to drive their cars, to still be able to get to doctors, hospitals, shopping, etc. So that's really what the plan is about. Those bus and rail improvements will help all parts of the county, from Tarpon Springs to Tierra Verde, from Clearwater, Dunedin, all the way across to you guys on the easternmost side of our county. And as you see by this very exhaustive line that you have in your handouts there in that trifold, those are the increased bus service systems. Virtually everything on this map is bus service, except for a very hard to see dotted line down the center of the county from Clearwater through Gateway to St. Petersburg. But all the rest of it is enhanced bus service in either new routes, new frequencies, or better service altogether. Greenlight's improved transit options will make Tampa Bay a more attractive area to tourists. As you all know, the tourism increased to record levels for the last 2 years in a row. We've had over 5 million tourists come into Pinellas County and enjoy our beaches and our quality of life throughout our cities here. This can only help by providing mass transit options from the airport to allow them to get to their destinations wherever they may be in the Tampa Bay area. Many tourists from out of the country are concerned because there is no mass transit and they're used to having transit in their home countries. Greenlight will help boost the economic growth in Pinellas County. It is an ability to provide economic, typically around these transit improvements that are major construction projects. And if you think about the infrastructure that has to go into place for this enhanced bus service, in areas to catch the bus on, in the 16 stops along the rail system, there will be economic growth around those areas. Pinellas County is an extremely built-out county, and it doesn't have a lot of green space to be able to afford new development, so redevelopment is the key for the next couple of decades. There's a study that was done that transit tops the list of factors that boost job creation and outranks about 90% of the other industries comparatively. Most importantly, Greenlight will be monitored by a Citizens Oversight Committee that will be formed, is already planned and will be formed once the project gets approved, and will act during the construction phase as well as the longer-term process to overview the construction, the design, everything else. So there will be people from the community that will be able to be part of this, and they will actually report directly, I believe, to the PSTA board, although I'm not 100% sure of that. But the Citizens Oversight Committee is being formed to help make sure that the county and PSTA does the right thing. So lastly, Greenlight listened and people spoke. Here's some quotes from around the county. It supports the mission and would attract new, highly trained staff to live in Pinellas. This is definitely an economic driver where folks will come to Pinellas County. We've had Raymond James, HR head, talk to us and say, you know, we interview people, we try and get them to come to work in St. Petersburg, mid-county there, and some don't because they don't have transit. They have to buy a car to come here. Some of the millennials in that 18 to 35 age group just don't want to do that. They'd rather live and work and play where they can take public transit. The need to educate the public on the benefits of the plan, that's the job of the Friends of Greenlight campaign. We're actually actively doing that tonight. People are tired of Pinellas County traffic, obviously a choice if anybody's ever driven on any of the major corridors, to have an option to be able to take mass transit, to not have to drive. And the most immediate need is a greatly improved bus system, and that's most of what the plan is all about. So, why vote for Greenlight Pinellas? A couple of reasons. The tax is fair and broadens the tax base for transit. It will create a transportation options that Pinellas needs that we don't have today. It's not uncommon for people to be able to try and go to work in the morning and not be able to get home at night because the bus service stops early in the evening and there's no return service. The frequencies are not adequate today to provide a viable means for folks to get to service jobs or technology jobs or any kind of jobs where they choose transit. It may be a 2-hour ride or a 3-hour ride with a couple of transfers today. So this plan achieves to make that right. And it's the right thing to do for Pinellas County's future. This is an investment in future generations that we today can do. We didn't get an interstate system because we thought it might be a good idea. Eisenhower challenged us in the 50s to build an interstate transportation system throughout the country, which we thank him today for because we were able to travel interstates. John Kennedy suggested in 1963 that we send a man to the moon, which created an entire technology infrastructure around space travel and space exploration and invention. This is the kind of thing that we're doing today by improving the Greenlight plan to get a better transit system into Pinellas County and drive that economy. So what's in it for Oldsmar? Why should Oldsmar vote? I took the opportunity, this particular quick facts guide that you have here, I've taken some excerpts out of it to just talk about here tonight. It's going to provide more local bus service and DART services. DART is the disabled transit service that Pinellas County provides. It will take many weekday services from once an hour to once every 15 minutes or once every 30 minutes. It'll run it instead of from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., it'll run from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. on many of the routes here in Oldsmar. More evening service to run on Saturdays from 7 to 11, and new Sunday service from 7 to 9 p.m. These are new things that you don't have today on your current bus system. A new regional express route between Oldsmar and downtown Tampa via West Shore. Those are those green lines on your maps that do provide service right through Oldsmar, across Hillsborough Avenue to the intermodal transport area that's going to be in West Shore, in addition to West Shore Airport. And then there's another western Hillsborough County service there. Weekday service from 5 to 11 p.m. with buses coming every 30 minutes during peak commuting times to serve workers in 60 minutes the rest of the day. So part of that 65% increase in bus service is these kind of things specifically for Oldsmar. How many people know about the connector service today? The North County connector service. It is the bus system for Northern Pinellas County, basically. It is I call it a concierge bus service, although PSTA may disagree with me, but it's those small airport-sized buses, 15 to 20 passengers, that on your maps there is that fuzzy kind of brownish line that runs across the top of the county there. It is an ability for you to be able to call within 3/4 of a mile, and that's what the fuzzy line is there, the orangish, brownish, fuzzy line. That route is where the bus goes, and if you live within 3/4 of a mile of that route, you can call PSTA today in advance and have them come pick you up at your home, take you into the route system, and get you into the bus system. That service today has doubled every few months. I don't have the numbers today, but I remember it was up to about 3,800 rides very quickly in its evolution, and it's grown since then. That service will double today. It will be a 200% increase in that service throughout North County, giving the frequency from 1 hour to 30 minutes, providing longer hours of service as well, and then Saturday and Sunday service, which doesn't apply today. It's basically building a route system that is important for Pinellas County and for Oldsmar. And lastly, All of these improvements, based on the median home value and median income, will cost the average homeowner in Oldsmar an additional $1.30 per month over the sales tax, over the, property tax that they pay today. That's less than the average cup of a coffee at Starbucks, or anywhere really. And basically, that's the connector bus. I showed you, bring a picture of that here for you to be able to see what it looks like if you see it on the road. So here's the actual November referendum that you will see on the ballot on November 4th, or earlier if you're a mail ballot recipient. And this is exactly the language you'll see. It asks you to, that the county is going to levy a 1% sales tax surtax to fund the Greenlight Pinellas plan for public transit, with 70 words of exactly what it's going to do, and you get to vote yes for it or no for it. So I'll give you a moment just to read through that quickly. But that's what you'll see on the ballots this November. And then finally, many other cities around the county, in fact 13 to date, have voted to support a resolution for supporting Greenlight Pinellas. As new as Safety Harbor last night voted at their city council meeting to support Greenlight Pinellas, along with 12 other cities throughout the county. There's also a large number of business folks throughout the county, including here in Oldsmar and throughout north-south Pinellas County. Most all Chamber of Commerces have supported Greenlight Pinellas. You'll see some names of folks and businesses up there. So we ask you tonight, if you have any questions, obviously I'd be happy to answer anything about the plan or its components. But hopefully if you take the time to understand the details of this plan, the benefits of the plan, the information that's available to you on greenlightpinellas.com, which is the PSTA site, most folks that we talk to reach a conclusion that it is best overall for Pinellas County. And I'd like to finish with the fact that with Oldsmar being forward-thinking and strategically thinking, and with your planned vision for the city to include a transit-friendly city, you're obviously the most logical city that would benefit from the added value, the added services on this start of a bus system. This is the beginning of a long-term project. As you know, in any other city around the country or the world, these transit systems get in place. They take a long time to get started. They typically begin to expand as the first phase gets in. And I think Oldsmar is positioned strategically and both strategically and geographically as a next logical step in the implementation of the system once it gets online. Maybe 10, 20 years from now, but if you think about it, we've been trying to get mass transit in Pinellas County for over 40 years. Commissioner Karen Seal's father was on the city council in Clearwater, and he, 40 years ago, was trying to get transit in Pinellas County. There was an article, front page St. Pete Times at the time, article that talked about, 27 years ago we started this, and it was him that did it. That was 10 years ago. So the time is now. It's important for Pinellas County and the entire Tampa Bay region for us to do this, and I ask you to join the other folks in the county and become a backer of this plan so that we can evolve our county and our region through the next several decades. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I do. Number one, do you know why Eisenhower didn't have a transit system? Eisenhower came back and wanted an interstate system. You know why he did that?
No, sir.
You want me to tell you why?
I do.
When he came back from the war of World War II, he realized that the Autobahn in Germany moved people from here to there because they had the Autobahn. Mm-hmm. So he came back here and said, we're going to have the same thing here in the United States. That's why. Mm-hmm. So you didn't have to stop at every little town along the way. So now you know why we have this Eisenhower system. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I've quoted that for quite a bit, and I never knew the backstory on it. Thank you.
That's not a story. That's a truth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
You've spent, and I appreciate you here, and I appreciate Commissioner Latvala. I told her she's voluntarily getting out of the system. I'm being pushed out of it. So. You spent your whole time here telling us what a great bus system it is. That's why we should spend this tax money. You didn't say a thing about where the majority of the money is going for the next, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and it's going to a rail system. Why didn't you bring that up? I mean, I know you're trying to sell this thing through a bus system, If you just had the bus system here, I would be with you 125%. See, but you're using the bus system to sell the rail system, and you took whatever time you took, which we appreciate the time you took. 99% of the time you talked about the buses. You didn't say a thing about what it's going to cost us for this rail system. That doesn't make any sense from Clearwater to St. Petersburg. But you are right on this. We are the hub here. We have a train system right out here. And when everybody else in Pinellas County, including the county commission at the time, I'm not sure you were on it, we had a train system from Hillsborough County that came here to the city of Oldsmar, and this city tried to push a rail system from Hillsborough County through the city of Oldsmar to St. Petersburg. Nobody helped us. Nobody from the county came on our side. Nobody helped us do that. Now, when he was mayor, he pushed for the rail system. Our current mayor has pushed for this system. I've been doing this since 1970, and when you brought it up about 1970, nobody even cared about the city of Oldsmar. We weren't even considered back then. Okay, I want to ask you some questions. Is this 1 cent sales tax sunsetted?
No, sir. It does not have a sunset. Rail systems are heavy infrastructure, and it takes quite a bit of money to...
Y'all hear what he just said? The rail system is heavily sponsored. Why isn't it sunsetted? If you had sunset it, I would probably go ahead and support it.
I would probably defer to Brad Miller to explain the logistics behind that, but from what little I know about transit systems throughout the United States and everywhere else, they takes quite a bit of money to run them every year.
It just keeps piling up money.
Well, it's not piling up. It's just, it takes amount of money to operate them every year, and the fare box only pays a portion of that. So the $2 that you pay for a ride that you pay today and will pay in the new system does not cover the cost of it. And it has to be funded by something in government, just like you pay for roads today. The roads are being paid for by tax.
You just now made my argument again. The bus system can only pay for itself, but it can't pay for the rail system. See, so that's why you're not going to sunset this 1 cent sales tax, which is my grandsons' grandsons will be paying the 1 cent sales tax when I'm dead and long gone. Okay, I'm not finished.
This is not uncommon for government to fund it through some tax structure, whether it's sales tax or other forms of government spending, but every single transit system throughout the country is paid for by government in some fashion.
Paid for by the government?
By our tax dollars.
It's paid for by the people, not the government. It's paid for by the people. See, we have a council member that's not here tonight. He's wishing I wasn't here tonight, but I am. All right, I got some other questions. Okay, I sat on the Pinellas Planning Council, as did he. I'm not sure you sat on that, as did he, for 7 years. And I was chairman 1 year. And we've been talking about this, you're right, we've been talking about this for 30 years or 35 years, and we've been spending money for 30 or 35 years on this studies. We've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on studies. Now, you made a mention about where they're going to have these hubs, and kind of amazing to me because you was kind of excited about it because we're going to have redevelopment on these hubs. What does redevelopment mean? Redevelopment means you're going to have density increases at these hubs. How many hubs are there?
16.
There's 16 hubs. You
on the
think
rail
about
system.
this. There's 16 hubs between Clearwater and St. Petersburg. 16 hubs. And every one of these hubs, now you can't argue with me on this because I was a part of it. On these 16 hubs, what's going to happen with the density?
I would assume it's going to increase, and that's, I believe,
it's going to increase.
Yeah, Pinellas County is already
and
planned.
you know
for
what's
that.
going to happen?
There's going to be new buildings,
These people,
new
the
businesses.
developers know, they're going to ask for not 20 units an acre. In fact, at the PBC, they brought this up. They're going to be asking for 80 units an acre, maybe 100 units an acre. You know what that means? That means
taller buildings.
Way up in the air. Now, what's that going to do with the traffic along help me out, Almerton? Okay. We're going to have high rises everywhere on those 15 hubs. Now, how are you going to get the land?
Pardon me?
How are you going to get the land?
How am I going to get to land?
Not you, but how is...
Get the land.
How are you going to obtain the land?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that 90% of the proposed system, or proposed route for the rail system is on right-of-way today. 60%, sorry.
All of it's on the right-of-way?
60% of it is on the right-of-way.
Okay, how about the 40%?
I would assume that they would, like they do any other time, that they build roads and have to infringe on properties in that area, including Keystone Road just recently.
Eminent domain?
I believe that is the choice of last resort, if I remember the county commission.
Eminent domain, yes or no? Eminent domain?
I'm not a qualified person to answer that. That would have to be somebody from the county.
Well, see, as a voter and as an individual with property rights, I'd like to know. Now, if you say it's not eminent domain, if you say it's not going to be eminent domain, you're shaking your head no. Okay. Are you telling me it's not going to be eminent domain anywhere along there? Well, whoever.
Go ahead.
I don't care who answers it.
Just introduce yourself, Brad.
Yeah, Brad Miller, the CEO of PSTA, and glad to answer questions again after I was here before to your cousin's council.
He's already been through me one time.
We follow the same process that the county and the state DOT.
Just answer
it's a federal process. As Don said, eminent domain is of last resort. We are obligated to offer you the value of your property.
But if not, there could be eminent domain.
You have to go through a whole process. You have to get the feds to agree to that. It's very rare.
Okay.
It's very rare.
I want to ask the city clerk. I want this particular conversation in a hard copy.
Okay.
I want it in a hard copy. Okay, so you're telling me there's a possibility, but that's not in your program.
Well, we have built in a large cushion in all of the property acquisition costs to pay every owner the value of their property along the line. But as Don mentioned, about 60% of the existing proposed right-of-way, is already in public right-of-way, is within the road or the right-of-way of the road. Okay. It's not in private hands.
This train is I support the bus part of it.
That's awesome. That's why Oldsmar's got a lot of buses.
But I don't support non-sunsetted for a train that's going to run from Clearwater that I would have to, if I wanted to go to St. Pete, I'd have to drive my car to Clearwater to get on the thing. How long is it going to take me to get to St. Petersburg?
No, from Oldsmar, you'd probably drive down McMullen Booth, right?
How long is it going to take me to get to St. Petersburg on that train?
So you would drive down McMullen Booth, get on the train right there at Carillon, and hop on the train and take about 20 minutes to get down to St. Pete.
From Carillon?
Yeah.
That's where the train goes.
Why would you drive to Clearwater?
I wouldn't drive. I'm not going to ride the train to start with.
Okay. Okay. Again, and Don, you said that you were concerned that Don didn't mention the train, and that is the majority of the funds. That's just simply not true.
Well, come on.
Again, the sales tax is two-thirds bus, one-third rail.
Show that to me.
It's in the Greenlight Pinellas plan. You go on Greenlight.
The Greenlight Pinellas plan, I can put anything down there in paper. I can put anything in paper. You aren't going to sunset it. Why aren't you going to sunset it?
The reason we're not going to sunset it is because it pays for the operating costs. We're getting rid of the property tax. Mm-hmm. We have to pay the drivers. We have to pay the ongoing costs of operating and maintaining the buses.
Well, you're not telling people that it's not going to be sunsetted. You're going to say, well, in 1924, this thing should be built. You should say, yeah, it's going to be built in 1924, but we're going to keep the 1 cent sales tax until the day your grandkids die.
Actually, in the referendum language, it says that it's a recurring, never-ending.
The people don't understand that referendum you got on there. All right. How come you gave the grant back?
What?
How come you gave the grant money back?
Because it was just dragging on forever, that we weren't getting any answers from the Department of Homeland Security, and then ultimately I couldn't be convinced that we were going to be approved.
You didn't spend any of the money the way you shouldn't have?
What?
Did you spend some of the money the way you shouldn't have spent it?
We used the grant originally to pay for television ads to provide a safe and secure message about PSTA, and we believe we did that. We still believe we did that, but I felt like it wasn't worth continuing to haggle over the themes of the advertisings with the feds.
I understand grant money. Okay, I'll give you that benefit of the doubt. Have you applied for, have you gotten any other grants from the federal government or the state of Florida to build this thing?
Yes, we get like $15 million a year in federal and state grants.
For this?
For Greenlight? No, not for Greenlight.
That's what I'm talking about, for Greenlight.
Not yet. Not yet.
Why haven't you got any?
Because it's a requirement to have a local funding source to support it before you can get any funds, like we're talking about for Greenlight.
Okay, but everybody needs to know that on 16 hubs, we're going to have, I'm exaggerating, we may have 100 units an acre, which means we're going to go up about 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 12 stories of building. And if you want to drive down Almerton Road, don't. Now, let me tell you, at each one of these...
None of the hubs are on Almerton Road, but go ahead.
Okay, where's it going to go?
It's going to go on East Bay. It's going to go on East Bay through Largo.
Well, see, I'm pretty well ignorant too. Okay, I apologize for that. It's going to come up.
Can we get that in hard copy?
Hey, you know how many times you know I don't know what I'm talking about? He's sitting there going, oh, yeah.
That's okay.
Mark that tape.
Didn't that make you feel good?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Okay, but anyway, you're going to have 16 hubs that's going to have enormous amount of people making enormous amount of money because they're going to sell that land, and part of the land is going to be taken by eminent domain because he won't say, no, that's not so. Okay, wait a minute. I've probably said enough. You know, it's just kind of irritating that you come here and try to sell this to us on your valuable time, to sell this whole thing to us on a bus system when the money's going to go for the rail system. The biggest part of the money is going to go for the rail system. And I think that's ingenuous.
I don't disagree with your interpretation of my presentation, but there was discussion about rail in there. It was a major component of it because it is a combined mass transit system that includes rail, includes bus, it includes development.
But from Clearwater to St. Petersburg, tell me
three largest employment centers in Pinellas County.
Tell me the benefits of the rail system to the city of Oldsmar. If you convince me of that, I'll support you.
This is a mass transit system, Mr. Baverland. This is a comprehensive mass transit system.
My name is Gerald or Jerry.
Okay, Jerry. Jerry, this is a comprehensive mass transit system that will benefit many folks in Pinellas County. I tried to bring to you specifically what part of that mass transit system will bring specifically to Oldsmar in the form of buses.
Buses, I agree with you on that.
Right.
Take the train out of it. I'll support it. I will campaign with you.
Okay.
Take the train out of it. Leave the bus. So my son, who is legally blind, almost very blind, volunteered at Meese Countryside Hospital. He can't do that anymore because it's going to take him an hour and a half by our bus system to get up there. Y'all took the only bus system away from the city of Oldsmar that he could get on it, go right up to the Meese Countryside. Now you're going to say, well, we're going to have other bus systems here in the next 4 or 5, 6 years, blah, 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 blah. We've heard that before.
And we didn't do anything about it in the past, did we?
Didn't do anything about it.
So today we have the opportunity to bring better mass transit to the entire county,
didn't have the
including you.
What, you telling me that train system is not going to cost a lot of money? Are you telling me that?
Again, the property tax that currently funds our service is going away, so we will have the sales tax. The sales tax pays for the capital construction, which for the rail is higher than the bus, but then it also pays for the operating cost over time. And when you add over the next 30 years, the capital plus operating, 2/3 of the total sales tax goes toward the bus operations, which is much, much higher than it is for the rail.
For what time period?
For the next 30 years, if you add the operating cost and the capital together, which is what the sales tax pays for. The sales tax pays 100% of the operating, or not 100, because fares pay for it, but there's no federal government money for that. And then the capital, which leverages the federal funds, is partly paid for by the sales tax. If you add those two together, 2/3 of the total cost of this thing, of this Greenlight Pinellas plan in its total is bus service improvements. 1/3 is the rail.
Could you not have the 1 cent sales tax for the next 10 years and sunset it and take the train out of it?
As linked in like penny for Pinellas?
Yeah.
The problem with penny for Pinellas is it is sunsetted and it is illegal to do operating with it.
You know why you're having trouble selling this? Because nobody wants to buy an idiot train from Clearwater to St. Petersburg. But everybody wants the bus service. That's why you're right here. That's why you're having a hard time selling it. And I'm going to tell you something. The way it stands right now, y'all going to lose at this. You think you're going to win, and maybe you will. Maybe I'll be on the hey, I've been on the losing end before. I don't, that's just part of life. This could have been a win-win for everybody.
Councilmember, I did a calculation. Right now we're funded by the property tax. If we got rid of the rail, as you're suggesting, as you're insisting that we do, if we got rid of the rail and we got rid of every other service that did not come to or service Oldsmar, and we just came up with a new plan called Greenlight Oldsmar, and then levied a property tax like we do today to cover the doubling of bus service in and to Oldsmar, and had the entire county pay the property tax like they do today just for the Oldsmar services, it would cost you and your citizens more in the property tax than this change in funding by the sales tax would cost, just for the Oldsmar bus services.
To the citizens of Oldsmar, because anybody that, whenever that bus leaves Oldsmar, those people are going to benefit what you're taxing Oldsmar. So that didn't make any sense. I'm telling you, if you had just the bus service, you'd win this thing. You may win it anyway, but you're going to win it without me. Okay, I'm finished.
Can I make a comment here, just to kind of talk about something you mentioned there? If rail systems were such a bad idea, then every city that's larger than us in the United States wouldn't have done it. And every city in the United States that did it wouldn't have expanded it as it got into place. So every system, including Orlando's new Sunrail, has been put into place, and it has been very successful. Sunrail has doubled its ridership. It's adding a second set of lines already, and it just got built. So we're probably not the pioneers in developing a rail system that services the major employment areas and education areas of our county. We're just following in line like every other larger city, including Detroit, which was the last city larger than us that finally did a rail system before us. It's not uncommon that these mass transit systems include a blend of rail, bus, bike trails, enhanced roads. I mean, everything about it. It's building an infrastructure to provide transit options for the folks in Pinellas County that want that. And you're right, it doesn't come to Oldsmar, and I'm sorry that the alternatives analysis federal study that was sponsored, that was done for several years, that you guys were part of that. I was part of that alternatives analysis, as I'm assuming many of you were. It just didn't make sense in phase one to do Oldsmar, right? It wasn't our decision. It wasn't PSDA's decision. It was the decision of this alternatives analysis group that was doing all of the studies for where the best and most viable implementable system is. And that's what phase one is going to be. And as I mentioned earlier, these systems tend, once they get into place and accepted by the public, tend to grow and they expand and they continue to evolve because people like it. Once they find out that driving a car is not their only option to get to a place, then rail systems can be an option for them, whatever they use it for.
Did I say I was against rail systems?
I'm assuming, no, sir, you didn't specifically say that.
No, I didn't say that.
You told us to take the
I
rail system
supported
out.
this one out here.
Right.
Questions?
And we would support it from
I'm working my way down.
From Tampa all the way through.
Mm-hmm. And that's hopefully the vision that we're having today. This is the westernmost leg of a regional system. Mayor Buckhorn is probably Greenlight Pinellas' strongest public supporter next to our county commission and the mayors here in Pinellas County.
Why are y'all talking about Howard Franklin Bridge?
Yeah, let's not get into that part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. The plan details are going to evolve over time, but the point is that this is the beginning of a regional transit system that Hillsborough County is going to come right behind us in 2016. The mayor said they're going to do it. Their transportation group said they're going to do it. They're planning for a 2016 sales tax ask, just like us, assuming we're successful in November. And then you'll have your regional transit system. If that regional transit system gets placed in decades to come, there'll be connectivity throughout the rest of Florida.
You got more? I want to make sure everybody has a chance to I'll come back to you. This is Jerry, part one. Jim?
First of all, thank you for your presentation.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to beat you up. I don't think it's any secret here in the room that I am running for county commissioner, and I am strongly opposed to this plan. And the reason I'm opposed to this plan is I've been a 37-year resident of Pinellas County. And I am sick and tired of Pinellas trying to do their own thing and Hillsborough trying to do their own thing. And I think it's time that a regional approach is taken. And I think it's time that they stop trying to go at it alone and they combine their efforts. It betters everybody in the community. And I'm strongly opposed to this plan because I think it's a colossal waste of taxpayer money. And that would be my only comment.
If you don't mind my asking a question on that, because I don't disagree with you. I think T. Barter was formed to create a regional planning council to produce a regional transit system. And I don't disagree that over time it would make sense that it becomes regional. But I think, as you gentlemen know and you ladies know, that government kind of works in their isolated boundaries, and it's hard to get regional cooperation. We have more today than we've ever had across the bay, but I just don't think anybody thought it was feasible to get the entire regional system in place with a tax structure to pay for it today.
I can counter that. You elect leaders that do that. You make it happen. The electors make that happen.
Okay, I don't disagree. I think it'll eventually be there.
Thank you. Councilmember McGee?
I had a couple questions, and I mentioned this last time Brad was here about the rapid bus service. I think the plan was to have rapid lanes for those buses. So I saw that, like, say you want to drive to Tampa on one of those buses. What lane on Memorial will that bus go on at 8 a.m. that will get me to Tampa faster than if I drive my car myself? Because there aren't going to be additional lanes added to Memorial or to... So I'm just curious, logistically, how does that work? I mean, I know part of the Oldsmar plan is there's going to be rapid bus service, but I don't know how logistically that's going to happen based on the plan if there's no addition to the infrastructure.
There's going to be new express bus service to Tampa from Oldsmar with a park and ride lot to Tampa, but no, at least it's not. Again, maybe to Councilman Roniker's point, there's no plan that Pinellas is doing to add lanes in Hillsborough County. So it'll be an express bus with no stops, going directly to downtown Tampa and to the airport that you can ride on. But yes, it'll be with the rest of the trip.
It won't be like a rapid lane. Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe this was in the study you guys did, but where do you think the people in North Pinellas work primarily?
Not PSTA, but the planning, Pinellas County Planning and the Pinellas Planning Council and the Metropolitan Planning Organization have done studies of that. I can get you the exact numbers. There's a lot of people that commute over to Hillsborough.
Tampa and St. Pete probably are the two biggest cities that people in North Pinellas work in.
Actually, the #1 job center, and from northern Pinellas commuting, is to Carillon, which is part of St. Petersburg, I guess, but it is to the Carillon Gateway area is the #1 job center today and in the future. That's why the rail goes there. It connects both the two largest urban centers, St. Pete and Clearwater, to the jobs
But it
at
connects
Carillon.
businesses to businesses. It doesn't connect bedroom communities to businesses. So, I mean, the whole pitch of the rail is that people will be able to get to work from their home or from a park and ride and get there.
Yeah.
But what percentage of people that work in those areas live in those areas, or I guarantee you a large percentage live in North Pinellas. I mean, we're a bedroom community of Tampa Bay. I mean, Dunedin, Oldsmar, I mean, that's why we love living here, because we're 20 minutes from a big city, but we're not in the city. So I just think my opposition to the rail that's proposed, I'm not opposed to rail, and I think everyone here wishes that North Pinellas had been included, is that it's not going to service people that want to go to work. It's going to service tourists. They're going to be going from the beach to St. Pete. Now, you're going to get some people that live in that area. I'm sure you get a large part that want to just go from Tampa to St. Pete that live there. But no one in North Pinellas will benefit from that rail at all, because there's no way I can get there and get to work because it doesn't come up here. So I think that that's a big miss.
Again, that's why we have proposed 3 new express routes that go through Oldsmar, to an express route for commuters from bedroom to their job in the Gateway area, to the airport, so you can park for free and then ride to the airport, or to downtown Tampa. That is where the studies show people work. Yes, so I mean, there is a plan. You should be able to catch that. We will have a bus rapid transit on US 19 to give you an option to not sit in the traffic on there.
Well, I just think the problem, like I said before, is logistically, that bus is not going to get me faster to Tampa. It's probably going to take longer for me sitting in a bus on Memorial traffic at 8 a.m. on, say, a Thursday morning to get to Tampa because there is no rapid lane. So, I mean, I like the idea of it. I think it's great that we're thinking about mass transit, but there are some huge misses for North Pinellas that we all agree on. And then you mentioned phase 1. So is there a phase 2 that's already planned out that includes North Pinellas and Oldsmar for the rail? Why isn't there one? I mean, if this money keeps rolling in, how do you know where you're going to put it if you don't have a plan in place? Because you said, you know, Orlando's adding new lanes and all this, you know, I'm sure they had a plan for that. I would hope so. So why isn't there a phase 2 plan that includes North Pinellas? Because that logically seems
There has been a study of commuter rail. I think Councilman Bjorn mentioned it. There has been a study of commuter rail from Oldsmar to Tampa. 99% of it is in Hillsborough County, and they have done that study. Certainly, I think what Don was trying to emphasize is that in every other city where mass transit has been implemented, it has been successful, and they have expanded it to new lines. So again, this Greenlight Pinellas plan is very specific. It's before the voters as this plan, but I mean, already Hillsborough County has started momentum based on Greenlight Pinellas. They're going to go on the ballot in 2016, and they're talking about connecting. And then ultimately, that will probably dust off that rail to Oldsmar. And that's how that will be implemented over time.
I think if you had really wanted to sell this to North Pinellas, you would have that on a map somewhere, that this is phase 2. So when this money continues to come years and years and years down the road, that this is what's going to happen in the next step. I mean, I want to vote yes, trust me. I want public transit here. I just think there's a lot of misses in this plan that, I mean, that hurt North Pinellas. I just don't see that. There's no way that I'm going to get on a bus to Tampa without a rapid lane to get on a rail to get to St. Pete, because I can drive there in 30 minutes. So it just doesn't, you know, it doesn't make sense. I want to use it, but I won't be able to use it, but I'll be paying for it.
Right now you are paying for it, right? Right now you're paying your property tax for that. That'll go away, and you're getting very limited
but I'm
service.
not paying for any infrastructure of a rail right now. But I'm not.
You're paying for the infrastructure of the bus. And there's no buses running in Oldsmar because they ended at 6:30 tonight. There's no buses that run in Oldsmar.
That's y'all's fault, not ours.
That's what will all change with this. There's a doubling of bus service in Oldsmar, to Forest Lakes, to all of your jobs.
I mean, the bus service is needed. I know elderly residents that use it and complained about not being able to get to church or things of that nature on a Sunday. I'm saying there are holes in this plan that you know, it would be a lot easier if those things were there. So, but I appreciate the presentation. Thank you.
Don't disagree. I mean, this is, as you know, you can't design the perfect system out of the box. I mean, I wish we could. I wish we could have developed every area that would have been able to do it, but I just don't think there was the ability to pay for it over time in this phase of it. But I think where we have to look at this, and I thank you for your comments, and I understand what you're saying, and it doesn't for northern Pinellas County as well as it can, or as it will someday. But I think today we have two choices today. We can implement a plan that is, you know, in place, that we have an opportunity to implement, or I think that if we don't pass this in November, I think that there's going to be a long dry spell before anybody can talk about transit in the Bay Area again. I mean, with the Hillsborough referendum in 2010 not passing, I think if Pinellas County voters turn this plan down on its face, as Brad said, it is a plan, it is implementable, it is financially sound, et cetera, et cetera. If we don't do that, my instinct, and from talking to folks that know more than I, we're 10 years out before we can talk in the Tampa Bay area again about any kind of mass transit improvements. And that to me is the biggest concern I have. Okay, it's not a perfect plan, it's not hitting everybody or not getting everybody everything they wanted, but it is a plan. It will get us started. It will get us on the right track. We won't be saying in 10 years that it's been 50 years we've been talking about this plan of mass transit. It will be 40 years, and we did it, and we got it started, and we evolved it over time. And I think that's the important thing we have to look at today. That's the generational aspect of this. It's not, is it the best for me today? It's the best for Pinellas County, and we have to do this. We have to start Otherwise, we can't finish, right? So that's all I have.
Yeah. All right.
Can I bring up one other thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
do I get a turn?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. You know, a few years ago, our Chamber of Commerce and the city, but I got to give the Chamber of Commerce, the Oldsmar Chamber of Commerce, all the credit for this. I mean, we'll take maybe that much credit for this. You know, we collaborate. What's that word? Collaborated. Thank you. I mangle. You think Bush was bad? I mangle English language so bad that my wife doesn't even understand what I say half the time. We collaborate, whatever that word is, with Hillsborough County. You know that we had Hart here? Did you know that?
I was not surprised. Remember I mean, you're right on the line.
We had Hart here. Y'all wouldn't work with us. In fact, y'all took two bus things away. Hart came to the city of Oldsmar. Mm-hmm. Hart came here. In fact, right here on 580, you'll see the bus stop for Hart.
For their express service.
But we never seen anything from PSTA. Nothing.
So do we want to continue doing that, or do we want to make it better?
Because y'all didn't cooperate with, whatever that word is, with this land. I mean, but we did. Okay. We did. Hart worked with us.
I know. But I don't want to keep rehashing what happened and why we're in the mess. And I would agree with a lot that everybody has said. I agree with Councilmember Roniker that it's about regional. But I also, having been meeting with a lot of elected officials, I went and met with Mayor Buckhorn. We were at the Economic Summit with Mayor Buckhorn, Mayor Kreisman, Mayor Kraticus, and some other elected officials. And to Councilmember Roniker's point, I think a regional system is something that we need. And the elected officials, as Jim said, that if you have the right people in place, and I think that's been the problem for a long time. We've spoken before about my background. I've been in engineering for 25 or 30 years, and we were having those discussions back then, and it was very much Hillsborough, Pinellas, and we've tried for years and years to get a regional plan together, and I'm not confident that we're there to do that now. I think the leadership has become in place. It was very nice at that economic summit, and I mentioned this tonight to Commissioner Latvala, that it was nice to see finally the city of St. Petersburg and the city of Tampa kind of reach across the bay with each other to make a regional effort. And I really think this is just my vision, is that if we get Greenlight Pinellas and it passes, and is it all things to all people? Absolutely not. Does it come to my house and pick me up? We've had this discussion amongst us. What is community? And, is community where I live, Bay Arbor? That's my direct community if I want to micro look at it. Oldsmar, is it Pinellas or is it Tampa Bay? And I've had this discussion with a lot of people that, when I go to Chicago, I want to go from O'Hare Airport to the bar my brother's sitting at drinking beer, the Montrose. I don't care how it gets me there. I don't care what borough, city, state, county I go through. I just want to get on it and get off of it here. I don't really care. And I think this division of Hillsborough and Pinellas County has to stop. I also think that, I don't know what Hillsborough is going to call it. I saw their recent thing that they had put out, and it's very similar to Greenlight Pinellas. But in my humble opinion, I think if Greenlight Pinellas passes and Greenlight Hillsborough, whatever you call it, I think that's the catalyst that gets us so much closer to a regional transportation system that then connects Tampa using our rail system through the city of Oldsmar, ties in. It's two different systems. We had a meeting with the CSX people recently, and they're going to have their study done before the end of the year that shows what tracks are available. You guys are well aware of that. What tracks are available through not only Hillsborough and Pinellas County, but all the way up into Hernando County. Yeah. So, I mean, those are the things that are falling into place that make this, to me, a regional plan. Would I love to see ultimately PSTA and Heartline merge in some way, shape, or form? I sure would. I don't know that it will. I know there's been some resistance from the Heartline people for various reasons, and I don't know if some leadership changes over there will help that. But I mean, I really think that we're about to turn the corner. And as you said, I truly believe that if something doesn't happen, that we are not only going to be obsolete, we're going to start losing the ability to recruit big companies to come here, to recruit skilled employees. You know, and as you said, people, I would love to be able to do that. And what do I do? To Jerry's point, we were talking about, you know, does the rail go through? And, you know, sure, I'd love it to stop here in Oldsmar. But, you know, the one thing that the Greenlight Pinellas did was, in my opinion, involve the public. All the meetings that you had and the people that you talked to and the input that came, these things weren't just darts thrown on a map to say, well, let's put one here, let's put one there, let's put one here. Which I say the Hillsborough County plan that they tried to pass a couple of years ago was that. They really didn't know what it was going to do, and they couldn't tell anybody why they did what they did and how they came to these conclusions, and it failed miserably. And to that, I commend the research that was put into this. But again, I use my brother as an example. You know, I go to O'Hare Airport, I take the rail to a certain spot, then I got on a bus and rode down Montrose to the place that he was at, and I got off. You know, you can't have rail going everywhere. Would I love it to come through my neighborhood and pick me up at my door? Sure, but that's not reasonable. But if the bus system was in place, you know, even before we have a rail connecting Pinellas County to Hillsborough County, what if there was a bus in place that I could get on here in Oldsmar and take to wherever a thing may be and get me to downtown St. Petersburg? Absolutely. I mean, that's how it works. And my lowly city of Cincinnati that I grew up in, you know, is finally getting ready to implement their rail system that'll be in place for the next year's All-Star game, you know, and they are so antiquated. They had the vision of rail back in the early 1900s and wound up using it for school storage in the underground. You can see the rail openings. It was the subway that they had, and it fell apart. And you know, I agree that with your comment that if we don't do this, we're going to be having this discussion in 10 more years that says 50 years ago I worked on that. You might be mayor then or something. I don't know, but I don't want to have that. Is this the plan? And as I said, it's not Greenlight Oldsmar. It's not Greenlight Safety Harbor. It's not Greenlight Tierra Verde. It's Greenlight Pinellas. And again, I don't think it's all things to all people. Can it be tweaked? Can it be fixed? Yeah. But I think it's the right thing for do. Am I going to write it? I don't know. I hope I can, you know, but I think I have to have faith in some of the numbers that you have. And as we all know up here, we can make numbers do whatever we want. Just get him on a discussion about traffic studies or something like that, and you know, whatever you want. But, you know, I think we are. And as you said, you know, good God, Detroit beat us. You know, that's pretty embarrassing that Detroit beat us. But I thank you for your time. I don't really have any questions. I mean, do you feel that if Greenlight Pinellas passed and Greenlight Hillsborough, or whatever they're going to call it, passes, do you see the next step then being some kind of a regional? Yeah. It frustrates me that T-BARTA was formed. You know, they gave them a mouth, but they didn't give them any teeth, you know, to do anything. They gave them no authority to do anything, and that was kind of the intent. But do you see that to be the next step if both of these pass? And to get state and federal funding?
Oh, yes. I mean, clearly, if Greenlight passes, then the momentum is already underway in Hillsborough. That makes it much more viable for their system to pass, and that will immediately start the discussion in the regional, connect the Howard Franklin Bridge and up and over the bay.
And do you see that if both of these green lights or whatever they're going to call theirs did it, that maybe more of the financial component of the more regional part of it might come from a state and a federal level as opposed to local taxpayers? Would you see that?
Yes.
That the connection.
I know that we will be more competitive if we work together as a Tampa Bay for federal and state funds than by working.
Because I don't think the thought, anybody's thought on your side is to put the burden of the financial component of this regional plan, be it over the Howard Franklin or through Oldsmar, on the backs of the taxpayers of only Hillsborough or Pinellas County. I mean, I think that's where you get state and federal funding, and I mean, I think that's what happened in Orlando, and they got some state and federal funding there. I could be incorrect, but I think.
And that's one of the reasons why Commissioner LaValla and the other county commissioners of Pinellas supported that idea of looking at consolidating PSTA and HART into one, is to be more competitive as a Tampa Bay area. On the Hillsborough side, they were just they didn't like it because they thought they were going to lose power or whatever. But
yeah, it's definitely. But I think
that was the whole idea.
And as Councilmember Roniker said, I think it really is about the people that you have in place that can execute the types of plans that I think that we need, which is regional transportation. I had this conversation with you. You know, we need regional transportation. We need regional sports authority. Nobody cares about Hillsborough and Pinellas. And what was it before? You told me this. Were we all Pinellas or were we all Hillsborough?
It was all Hillsborough.
Father Time.
Pinellas seceded.
This used to be Hillsborough County, you know that?
Yeah.
100 years ago.
I couldn't remember.
Seceded.
And I think they're just mad at us.
We won
Maybe that's what it's
1912,
about.
we become Pinellas County.
But I mean, I really think we need to think regionally. And I think a lot of the people that have been elected and are, potentially going to be elected are very regional thinkers and broad thinkers and things like that. So I don't really have any questions for you. I've kind of done my own research and my own thoughts, and I don't want to be having this discussion 10 years from now. That's my thoughts on it. Anybody else have any other comments or thoughts or input? Yeah?
Mayor, if I could make one comment to council member, I was just thinking to your comments about T-BARTA and this initiative. The Memorial Causeway, a lot of the traffic that is caused on Memorial is caused by the interchange down there at I-75, where it goes to 2 lanes. Both roads go to 2 lanes. That has become, based on this Greenlight Pinellas discussion and Hillsborough and working together through T-BARTA, become the #1 priority. FDOT just added more than $100 million more for right-of-way acquisition there. So that project is finally moving to eliminate that bottleneck. So even if you are on the bus with free Wi-Fi, and it's totally legal to text and ride, in this same lane, it'll be less traffic because they're going to work on it together as the region.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anything? No?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
I lost track of where we were. Next is our city attorney.
Mayor.
I'm sorry, we're not doing public. We're not voting on anything, so this isn't.
Oh, she had that question.
I know you did, but this is a presentation. Do you have a comment or, okay, I'll let you ask it. But we're also doing no tax for tracks coming up at the next meeting too. So.
This is an informational question.
Okay, that's fine.
I think they're the only ones that can answer.
Yep.
Loretta White, 601 Shore Drive East. I didn't see anything in the brochures, and I haven't seen anything written. But my understanding is it's going to be 24 miles of rail, and it's going to have 16 stops. Well, when you have rails, you have these arms that go down. Now, my understanding is there's going to be at least 16 of them if you have 16 stops. And my understanding is they're $200,000 a piece. That amounts to over $3 million just for the arms. So if that's true, that's an expense that nobody's talking about. And my question was, is that true? I mean, is that going to happen? And I thought they would be the only ones to answer that.
That's fine.
You're talking about the arms,
the arms that come down
at the roads.
Yeah, at your 16 stops.
Yes, all grade crossings of the rail at the 16 stops and other places where they cross the street, they have to have those arms, and those are all budgeted.
But they're $200,000 a piece, I heard. So you're talking about over $3 million just for the arms.
Yeah,
that's not the other stuff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
And the capital investment is significant.
Okay, but you do admit there are arms. But there's nothing, you don't find that anywhere. That's why I asked it. Thank you.
Okay. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, item number 11 on your agenda is the first reading and public hearing of Ordinance 2014-08. I'll read that by title only. Ordinance 2014-08, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, setting the election date of March 10, 2015, and the candidate qualifying period for the March 2010-2015 election, and providing for the effective date. That was the first reading of Ordinance 2014-08 by title only, and it requires a public hearing.
This is a public hearing. Does anybody wish to address this item from the public, either for or against? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Call the roll.
Councilmember Beaverland?
Yes.
Councilmember Roniker?
Aye.
Councilmember McKee?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Aye.
First reading of ordinance 2014-08, establishing qualifying period for March 2015 election, is passed with 4 votes for and 0 against.
Hey, that's all I have.
Thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The next item, approved contract with Unit 1 of the Palm Harbor Oldsmar Professional Firefighters, Local 2980 IAFF. This contract would run through September 30th of 2016. Negotiations began in July of 2013. The previous contract had an expiration date of September 30th of 13. Over the period of these negotiations, approximately 1 year, we have reached a tentative agreement on 14 articles. There was a summary of all those changes as well as the entire contract included in the packet. As the council is well aware, the last remaining article related to the pension, we reached a tentative agreement on that July 15th, 3 weeks ago. Since that time, the contract has been ratified by the bargaining unit on July 28th. So tonight I am recommending council approval of this contract, 3-year contract with Unit 1 of the Palm Harbor Oldsmar Professional Firefighters. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the item?
Have one.
Yep.
I want to congratulate Jason. You had a job that I wouldn't want. You did well, Jason. Thank you. And y'all, I'm glad it worked out.
I mean, I also would like to commend actually both sides. I mean, I think it was a friendly discussion. I mean, I think, you know, obviously the union is fighting for, you know, what they are fighting for, and the city is working hard for the taxpayers and the citizens of the city of Oldsmar. But at the end, you know, I don't think there was ever a question about our belief and faith in our fire department. And it's something that I think we wanted the best for them, but we wanted to make sure that we could sustain it and keep it going for you and our fellow firefighters down the road and have the best plan in place that we could. And I commend you, Jason, and everybody from the fire department and the unions for working hard in the city. And couldn't have had a more timely bathroom break, I think, at the last council meeting. So that worked out well. But we have a motion and second. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, the next item is consider approval of a annual use agreement with Oldsmar Youth Soccer Association Incorporated. This is a renewal. As you're aware, we have annual agreements with the youth sports leagues. There are no significant changes from the prior agreement. The time period covered by the proposed agreement is from August 18th of this year until April 30, 2015. I recommend approval of the renewal of the annual use agreement with Oldsmar Youth Soccer Association Incorporated.
I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is authorized removal of T-ball field at Canal Park. Council is aware, of course, of the expansion of the BMX track into a supercross track. Council has previously authorized and approved the removal of Field 5. This T-ball field is immediately, I'm going to say south, it's of Field 5, and it's to provide a little more space for the BMX Supercross track and make sure that it's not going to be crowded when it's constructed. Should the need arise, there is another T-ball field on well, I'll just say the back of the park. It's the area adjacent to Countryside Key and East Lake Club Apartments. It was a T-ball field, hasn't been used for several years, and should the need arise, we would restore or rejuvenate that in place of the one that is adjacent to Field 5. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I would recommend this evening that you authorize removal of T-ball field at Canal Park.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Yep.
I was looking at this plan today in detail, and it's quite extensive, and it's kind of exciting when you look at it because it's really very professional looking. Yeah, Jim?
Are we replacing the pitching mounts that they're losing?
Pardon me?
Are we moving the pitching mounts? You're taking those away too, I see. There's 2 pitching mounts in between 5 and 6. In other
Well,
words,
at least one
where
of
are they?
them, Mr. Reeves could answer that more specifically.
Where are they going to practice?
I think it's just one of them, but I could be wrong.
Is that what's right here?
Right in the middle of.
And right there?
Yeah.
Lynn Reeves, Leisure Service Director. Are you talking about?
To the right of Field 5.
To the right of Field 5. Yes, those mounds are coming out.
So we're replacing them for the leagues to have a place to practice, or?
Well, they don't really get used much. They haven't been used for a long time because the league hasn't used Field 5 for somewhat. And there are pitching areas at the side of fences if we need to add them. There is space to do that. But those traditionally, I'll say over the last 2 or 3 years, they've been mainly sidelight instructors going out there using them in the middle of the day.
Times have changed since I was coaching out there.
Yeah, it's not been the Little League using them. It's been people that are running, I'll call them
camps or whatever.
Side deals, and they're trying to get work on pitching and things of that nature.
Okay.
And I guess to that point, I'll ask, I would assume that out here we have the ability that if we find that we've kind of disrupted the function of the baseball component of the park, that we have some property out there, or we can shuffle. I mean, there's still other property out there that we could do things like the city manager said, you know, we could replace the T-ball field, and if we find that we've affected the ability for them to function.
Right, and the T-ball field is basically, and I'm just going to use in the spring season, each field was used for one game on Saturday. Each of the T-ball fields was used for like one practice on Monday, one practice on Tuesday. So realistically, the facility wasn't really totally utilized. But the fact that we have that field that was abandoned many, many years ago, the backstop is still there. We would just have to do some rejuvenation and fix it.
We do, yeah. So we do have the ability to make it whole if
Right.
we so desired.
Right.
Not to mention there's other facilities that they could use, and I was schooled on where the T-ball was originally down at Olds Park.
Yeah, I know about the T-ball field. I didn't have a problem with. But when I saw the pitcher's mounds, I thought they were losing amenities and.
Yeah, those things, like I said, they haven't been used much for a long time. Any other questions?
That's my only question.
I'm going to bring something else up at the budget hearing, but the BMX track that's going to be built here is going to be world class. Okay? We need to look at the ball fields as world class, not as they are today, but as they're going to have to be, because the BMX track should be complemented.
I think we should. This is going to raise the whole level of that facility.
Yes, and I'll bring that up at the budget meeting.
All the fields,
yeah. Because we're going to have a world class.
Well, it starts in parks.
Starts in parks. So,
Mr. Haddock and I have discussed that for the future. We have discussed that.
And if you do need the pitching mounds, there's other areas in this whole.
That's what I was saying. This is really an overlay, but
this is going to be world class. Both of them needs to be world class, the best in the county.
Yeah, no, I gotta, in case the Little League comes at me and goes, hey, you took away 2 of the pitching mounds, and I don't have an answer for that. I was like, we did. That's why I had to ask the question.
Any other questions?
No, I don't have any. Gabby? No? Motion to approve?
You already got it.
Oh, I do. Second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 15, consider adoption of Resolution 2014-14, renewing the cooperation agreement with Pinellas County for the Community Development Block Grant Program. I think that you're aware that CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, is a federal program. That's where the money comes from. Pinellas County receives a specific amount as an urban county, and the 3 largest cities, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, and Largo, also have their own entitlement based on their size. It's for cities of 50,000 or greater in population. The other 21 of us belong or participate with Pinellas County in the program. I think I had told you it was 5 years. It's a 3-year renewal cycle. So this is a resolution authorizing our continued participation in the program. I'll read the resolution by title only. A resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, entering into a cooperation agreement with Pinellas County, Florida, for the Community Development Block Grant Program for fiscal years 2015, 2016, and 2017. I do recommend approval or adoption of Resolution 2014-14. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Anybody have any questions? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Yep.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passes 4-0, thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, the next item, approve revised agreement creating the Pinellas Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO. Well, actually, you acted on this, I think, about 2 or 3 months ago. This is the merger of the Pinellas Planning Council and the Metropolitan Planning Organization. In name, the new agency, or the combined, will be known as the Pinellas County Metropolitan Planning Organization to meet with state and federal requirements. There's one change, really, compared to that agreement that y'all approved, like I said, it was 60 or 90 days ago. An issue brought up by the City of St. Petersburg's legal staff concerning, among other things, the individual liability of the members of the MPO. So they went back to the state, and the state agreed with St. Petersburg's position, and there were actually 3 sections modified as a result of that request from St. Petersburg. The end result is that those of us that already approved the new agreement are now being asked to do it again. So this evening I am recommending that you approve the revised agreement establishing the Pinellas County MPO.
Yeah, need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on the item? That didn't take long, yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. We didn't think that the state would actually approve the change. It was actually in both the MPO and the PPC's original verbiage, and PPC's council felt that it was really a non-issue because we're exempt from that anyway, but they went ahead and took it out. So a motion and a second, all in favor?
Well, I have just one little comment.
Okay.
I would love to vote against this, but I'm not going to because I think it's probably the better thing. But, it's just irritating. St. Pete, minor change, St. Pete wants it, they get it. We're going to go for 3 years and not have a voice.
Yeah.
Even though you say, well, we got Tarpon, they're not going to look out for us. But anyway, that's all.
All in favor? Aye. Aye, passes 4-0, thanks. Anything else?
That's all I have, thank you.
City Clerk.
I just have a reminder, the primary is coming up on the 26th, and early voting starts on the 16th at a few of the supervisor of elections locations. There's more information at votepinellas.com or 727-464-VOTE. And a reminder that just because
You're pointing with the wrong hand, by the way.
And a reminder, if you're not registered Republican or registered Democrat, there are still things to vote for and to take a look at your ballots.
Please keep
Don't
your
lose
left hand
voice.
down.
That's all I have.
Vote often. Anything else? That's it. And before we get to council comments, I want to acknowledge our new CPO is here. Deputy John Long, if you want to come up and say hi, introduce yourself.
I'm glad you did that because I was going to do that.
And also the other CPO, is he started or not? When does he start?
Deputy Class, he won't start until August the 10th, so he'll be here in August the 10th. Yeah, I'm Deputy John Long. I'm a resident of Oldsmar, and
you are
currently live next door to Mayor Beavis.
That is scary.
And Al, yeah.
Mr. Beavis, I think a few years ago you used to be in the roofing business. Okay, I remember my dad doing some roofing stuff for you. His name was John Long.
You got to be kidding.
I'm his son, yes, sir. So. I think that's been I think I was in high school or middle school at the time, but I'm hoping to, retire.
Roofing?
What's that, sir?
Tile roofing? Tile
roofing?
Yes, tile roofing, yeah.
I was thinking about him, the most incredible, he had the most incredible dad?
Yeah, he was my dad.
Most incredible daddy that any man could ever wish for.
Yes.
He was an incredible man.
Yeah, he passed away probably about 7 years ago. So,
he was such a. I cannot.
Yes, sir.
Your daddy was special.
But I'm hoping to do a good job. I know Deputy Sarah, he did a very good job, and I don't know if I'll be able to do as good a job as he will, but I'll do my best. And Mr. Trask, I know you from when I was in Dunedin as the CPO, one of the CPOs over there. So, but. I'm just kind of glad to be here. I've been trying to make my way back over here for the last couple of years, so, but the timing wasn't, wasn't
at the time, it just wasn't right, so I finally made it over here.
We're glad to have you here. I'm glad to have you as a neighbor. I'm going to get on him about
lawn in the city.
the nicest lawn.
His next door neighbor.
He might be fertilizing.
No, John's a great neighbor and a great asset to the community, and glad to have him on board. I mean, you worked here before, didn't you, John? In patrol or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably about 6 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I want you to stop by the house. I want to talk about your daddy.
Well, welcome aboard, and we look forward to the other CPO starting soon as well.
Unbelievable.
Council comments. Do I dare start with you, Councilmember Beaverland?
Welcome. I'm glad you're a citizen, by the way. Always watch his house close.
Don't watch it that close. I got an attorney on the other side of me.
Because we aren't really sure about him part of the time. I showed this to Bruce today. I would like the council to reconsider that this sign be remade and go back up at Canal Park. This was an incredible. Okay, I'll pass it. This was an incredible. And if you look down here to the left, you'll see J and B, and the rest of it. That's the landscaping company I owned, along with the roofing company. Canal Park. In fact, I have the letter at the house from Mayor Williams, who I was never really excited about, Mayor Williams, and this is where our city manager started, with Mayor Williams. I have a letter from what's her first name? Grace, thanking me. We designed and landscaped the entrance to Canal Park back in 85, 86. It was about a $10,000 entrance in landscaping that we did it for free. Labor, we furnished the plant in beautiful palm trees. Anyway, that was the sign. Beautiful, big sign. Anybody notice the sign we have down there now? It's embarrassing.
Can you pass that down, or are you going to hold on to it all night?
We need that sign back.
When did that sign go away?
I guess it rotted.
Well, we did talk about that earlier, although after our conversation earlier today and giving it more thought, I think it was removed when Tampa Road was widened.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Yeah,
when it went away, so to speak.
You are right. You are right.
I don't remember what year that was, but that was what.
You're right.
98, 99.
That's what happened to it.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, I think we can discuss that at the thing about. I think that park needs to.
Major improvements.
I mean,
it's a great park. Don't get me wrong, but I think for putting a world-class facility in there, it needs to.
We need a world-class sign there.
Right.
Tom brought this into us, and this is going to be on the next agenda about the Purple Heart City, and we need to adopt this.
Can you address what that's about, though? Because that's coming up in a couple of days.
Well, this is their August 7th, 2014 program, Purple Heart.
In Dunedin.
Yeah, well, why don't you talk about it?
No, I was just saying, I'm going to make sure if you're going to talk about it, it's downtown Dunedin at alternate 19 and Main Street. So that's Dunedin's Purple Heart Recognition Day. And it's on our agenda for 19, or whenever our next meeting is.
That's on the agenda, and also to talk about the Veterans and Memorial Day service.
Celebration, yeah. Okay.
And the only other thing I have is thank you for who you all are.
Jim?
Deputy Long, welcome. That's all I've got.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, Councilmember McGee.
So I almost was going to say I didn't have anything, but then I looked and I saw that Anne's birthday is on August 17th, day after the Florida League of Cities conference. So happy early birthday, Anne, because we'll miss it before the next
39
meeting.
years old.
And that's all I have.
I don't really have anything. I did talked about the Firefighters Union, and although there's nobody here, the thousands and tens of thousands of people that watch at home, I do want to acknowledge Bruce and Al and a lot of the people that that worked really hard on the union negotiations, and it's never a fun thing. We knew this years ago, even when Jim was the mayor, that, you know, one day this may come before us, and I think, you know, we said we couldn't split the baby, but I think we found a way to kind of rip it pretty good anyway, so I think it worked out well, and Bruce, you did a great job actually being the one doing it for us this year, the negotiator, and Al with the numbers and all the people that helped behind it, so it worked out well. See, the trophy we got, this is the only other thing, I don't really have a lot, but I went to the city picnic, which was really a great time, but I did learn that eat after the canoe race, don't eat before the canoe race. I did find that out, but it was great to go down there with all the employees, and Bruce and I, when we did our We Mean Business, we rode around the other day. If you get a chance to go to Bicentennial Park back there, they're building the environmental center, and incredible.
I've seen that.
It is. Have you been back there?
Unbelievable.
Incredible. I don't know how many beams there are, but they weighed $5,000 a piece. It took a special truck from Detroit or from Minnesota to bring them down, and they had to use a forklift to lift the back end to get it around the corner. Absolutely incredible. And the city staff, for the most part, is building it, right?
Can't we have the Super Bowl underneath that thing?
I think you probably, well, if not, you could lift it up and probably put it over this track. That's about how big it is, but it's a great facility. But so I went to the company picnic, and it was a great time. It's neat to see all the employees get together and just sit with them and talk. And I stuffed my face, and then they wound up, Adam couldn't get in the canoe with Kyle Reifler, and so they volunteered me, stupidly at my age, and after eating, and we were coming back. I don't know how far out we paddled. Is it like 200, 300? It was probably 6 or 7 miles, I think. We paddled out and then paddled back, and we were leading, and so I couldn't let up. And I told Kyle, I said, I think I'm going to puke in the front of this boat, is what I basically told him. But we somehow the other boat made a left turn right towards the end, and we wound up winning. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and good to see employees getting together. I've worked in the private industry before, and you know, you always have those, but it's neat to see a city, a municipality get together and see people. But yeah, that was our first. I don't know where it goes. It winds up going somewhere. They've got some special.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
No.
That's all right. We are going to the Florida League of Cities Conference next week. I'm looking forward to that. Learn a lot. It's a great opportunity to do a lot of things. It's a great opportunity to meet other elected officials. It's also a good opportunity for us to brag about our city. I remember when you were the mayor and we went down and we got to brag about the reverse osmosis plant and just some of the things that a small town like us is capable of doing, and it's because of the infrastructure that we have, you know, with our city staff and the support of the taxpayers and the great councils that we have. So we go down there and we learn some things and we meet some people and make some connections and things like that. So looking forward to doing that as well. And this will be the first year that we've done it without our lovely Janice Miller going with us too. So we'll make sure that we pass along their thoughts and prayers as well. But I don't have anything else. Anybody else?
Mayor, I do.
I knew it.
I forgot. This was given to the city by an attorney or somebody. Mobley Bay.
I don't know. You probably need to aim at that camera over there, behind Loretta.
Wait a minute. Why don't you look at it?
I looked at it when it was in the CLERK.
You've seen it with the...
Yep. Aim it at that camera right there.
There's nothing about Mobley Bay in these photographs. It's not Mobley Bay.
Oh. Oh, so you're being critical of it is what you're doing. Kind of.
I just thought I'd let you know.
Well, good. Take it home and put new pictures in there and bring it back. That's your homework assignment.
It's not Mobley Bay.
Well, then either change the name to what it really is, or put new pictures in there.
I don't know.
And we'd like to have it by next meeting, if you could, please. Thank you. Oh, jeez.
Whoops.
Anything else? Motion to approve the tentative agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. 4-0.